Take the information and you extract the information. Input the information, extract. You create the information and give you the 3D models, and then you extract for your activities, for the planner, for the building owner, for the system integrators, architect, engineers, whatever. Then you extract the information. It's about the development of information. So it's not about the program, it's not about the software. It's about leveraging the information for your activities. So if you talk about BIM, there are two sides of BIM. So any of you already attend the software training, Revit? Many, eh? So when you attend the software training, which is Revit or ArchiCAD or whatever it is, it falls under the producer. You produce the model. It's a digital. You get the model itself. It's not yet BIM. You are going towards BIM. So you can have three types of model: architecture, CMS, MEP, and then you can merge this model. So that's one side of BIM. But you always heard that people are saying BIM is not about the software. Okay? So what is BIM? BIM is both of it. When you develop the model, and then there's a process side of BIM. So these two is two separate training. It's not the same training. You need to attend both training to develop the model, and then how to use the model with the right process. Okay? So BIM come both, huh? Because my topic is second level. So those who not attended any BIM, basic BIM, is going to be confused. You get confused, but it's okay. You can ask any question throughout this session. So there are two sides: developing the model with the software that you are already attend the training, and then from that model you need to know how the process to use the information. From this process, the next one, the highest level of BIM is to produce the documentation from the information that created in the model. Alright. So the documentation, when you can produce the documentation from the model with the right process, this is the full BIM. The model itself is not yet BIM. Okay? So most of the model is used for visualization, data extraction, document production, you see, and simulation and analysis. That is the model, the use of the model itself. And when you create the model, you must know you create the model for what? For what purpose? You cannot create one model for every purpose. This is another thing that most of the BIM implementer got missed out. Even in the big project, they create one model and they want to use the model for everything. It can't work. You need to know the model is for what purpose. So mostly they have three reasons of the model development. Either is for the design modeling, for the documentation modeling, construction modeling, or coordination modeling. Including one of the modeling, construction modeling included the information of the costing, extraction of information for costing purpose, for procurement, for all those things. It falls under the construction modeling. Documentation modeling is for the purpose of production of BQ specifications. You know. So when you produce a model, you need to know why you want to model it. Okay. Then only you start with the model. For example, this one. We talk about two sides of BIM. One is for the information development, the model itself. Another one is the process. So the model itself, you need to input all the information, like the parametric information. You need to know why you need to model. If the model is for coordination, you input this kind of information. If you want to model for installation and finishes, this is the information that you input. And if you want to use the model for QS purpose, extraction of information, estimate and procurement, you need to input this information. And for the FM purpose, this information. There are more information, more things you can input, depend on the objective of your BIM implementation. Before you start BIM, you need to know why you want to implement BIM. Okay? And then come the process. Information development with the software and the process. There are a lot of process. And there's a few things need to be carried out before you can implement BIM. So if you talk about BIM, there will be three things here. Right? Three things that you need to know how the building go together. The building itself, how the building goes together. You need to know how we build the building. Okay, and then we need to know what information is important and how do I present it. How the building goes, what information required, and the ability to model it. You need to have all these three ability. You need to know how the building goes together, what information required in the building, and the ability to put all together into one model. Okay, yeah. So BIM terminology, I need to go through all this because otherwise you miss out on the collaboration part. So BIM, those who already attend the BIM training, you will know that BIM consists of this 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D. You heard about it? 2D is about the 2D, the CAD drawings, and then 3D is about the model itself with all the material. 4D is about the time and schedule. 5D is about the cost. 6D is about operation and maintenance. This is one terms from one side of the world. They said that the different only 6D. One side of the world saying that the 6D is operation and maintenance. If you Google, you find that another side of the world saying that 6D is sustainability. You see, there's two different, okay? So you get confused if you don't understand. So it's two different terminology from two sides of the world, from UK and from Europe, from another side of the like this one. The 6D for sustainability is from UK. If you attend training from UK, they will say that 6D is sustainability, and there's another part of the world saying that 6D is operation and maintenance. In fact, in Malaysia, both terms is available. If you join MRCB, they will say 6D is IFM. If you join MRT, 6D is sustainability. But don't worry, it's not fixed. It's not cast on stone that cannot be changed. When you attend, when you join with the organization, you just need to justify. You just need to clarify with them what you mean by 6D. Then just follow. There's no fixed terminology. 6D, 7D, 8D all have different terms. Depend on the organization. If the 6D is sustainability in the organization, the FM will be called as 7D. If the 6D is FM in the organization, 7D will be acoustic. Okay, so there's different terms. Never mind, doesn't matter. And then the 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, it doesn't go this way, linear. The 6D, 7D, 6D, 5D, 4D, and 3D, it can go concurrent. Okay, doesn't mean that you need to create 3D and then 4D and then 5D one by one. It can go this way. You can create the 3D and then at the same time you have a 4D, at the same time you have a 5D. So what is D? D is the dimension. Fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh dimension, and it can go up to n dimension. It doesn't end. Because when you find, you can do research and you can introduce new dimension to BIM. Okay, so in Malaysia, they said they already reached 8D. 8D, yeah. Seriously, one of the organization in Malaysia is already 8D, which is the CSR in the construction. CSR dimension of construction. So that is 8D. If you go out, after you graduate, you go out, you find one of the organization 8D, don't condemn lah. You just ask what you mean by 8D, sir. Okay. So another part is LOD. You heard about LOD. These are all terms, just like any discipline. If you are a QS, you have a terms from QS, kan? Like QTO. So you talk with another QS, you say QTO, and the QS don't understand what is QTO. So you know that that person is not QS. Kan? You civil engineers, you talk about shear stress and moment, and then wait a moment. So you know that is not engineer. Okay. So this term is very important. When you go out there and you talk about this term and you don't know, and you mislead and you misrespond, you wrongly respond to the terms, then people know that you don't know. So the term is very important. Or maybe you argue, like I said just now, 6D can be sustainability, can be FM. But you go out there, people talk about 6D is FM, you argue, no, 6D is sustainability. You argue, means that you don't know. You're not clear. Okay? You're not clear that there's some side of the world talking about 6D